Yeah, Ava Cowboy fan says maybe you just don't take this the wrong way. Maybe you attract a certain type of hard luck with things. I mean, yeah, I would say so. I would really say so. I mean, I had to eat disgusting Subway. All right, that got me almost sick.
You hear that, guys? He had to eat it. He had to do it. He had to eat Subway, even though he was the one pushing for this.
My printer died out of nowhere, even though my printer was only a year old and I've only used it basically twice.
Did you punch that one too? Did you at least try to troubleshoot it? The ink probably dried up and he's like, oh, this thing sucks, it's broken, and he threw it in the trash and ordered another one on Amazon. I guarantee that's what happened.
To do my taxes 2 years in a row, and then it broke. Then my controller malfunctioned during Minecraft, and we had a big crisis there.
It malfunctioned? You mean it didn't charge and the battery ran out? I don't think that's malfunctioning, Phil. He uses these words as if he's trying to convey something different than what actually happened. And it's kind of funny, but it's stupid.
Yeah, I would say I have some pretty hard up luck, some pretty bad luck in certain ways. In other ways, I have incredibly good luck. You know what it is? Because people have said this before, all right? It's this simple, all right? I have hard luck when it comes to things that everyone else can just do simply and easily, but I have
like, you just called yourself unintelligent and inept at doing anything, because things that people can figure out with simple problem solving skills, troubleshooting issues, fixing things, learning how to do things, learning how to fix things, learning technology. Phil fails at all of this because he doesn't apply himself and he doesn't try, right? He just buys everything new. Like, he'll just buy a new phone if his phone starts acting weird. He'll buy a new controller if he thinks his controller is dead. He'll buy a new printer if he runs out of ink. I don't know. You know, like, what are you trying to say, dude? You're a moron? Who says that?
incredible luck when it comes to things that are difficult. So I'll play a video game, right? It's the easiest game ever, and I get stuck and I just get destroyed by the game and everyone laughs at me.
Well, that's because you lack simple problem-solving skills. You know, you need yellow spray paint to move forward in a game to get to the next objective, right? Like, what? These are simple things. You're calling yourself dumb and you don't realize it, and that's probably the worst part of this.
But then I'll play an incredibly hard game that no one else can beat, and I'll just beat it easy right away. That's what happened with Sekiro. With Sekiro, I got to the final boss. Everyone's like, this is going to be hilarious. This is going to take Phil several streams just to beat the final boss. Everyone's having a tough time. I beat the final boss in 15 minutes. It was actually easier than most of the other stuff in the game for me. I just completely bullied
One could say that Phil hyper-fixated on beating this game, if you know what I mean.
the fucker and destroyed it. You know? That's life for me. It's like opposite.
But here's the thing about this whole statement here. He just compared, oh, everybody has such an easy time doing simple things in life, and I always have a hard time doing it. But when it comes to beating this boss in a video game, I'm the fucking best at it. I will kick that boss's ass in 15 minutes when everyone says it's going to take me hours. But I also don't know how to operate a slow cooker because it doesn't come naturally to me. I also don't know how to cook because I just can't grasp the concept of cooking. Like, he lacks basic functions that normal humans can do. And then he's like, yeah, well, I make up for it and I have good luck because I can beat bosses in video games.
Land for me. So anyone else can go to Subway, and if they order a sandwich, it's got the right meat, the right ingredients, everything's fresh. They order the foot-long cookie. They get a delicious foot-long cookie. Me, I get the absolute opposite. And you know what's actually funny? Are you ready for this?
What is that?
Some of the comments on the Subway DSP Tries It are something to this effect. Well, surely you know that if you want good food, you have to go there in person. What did you expect if you ordered for delivery? And I'm like, wait a minute. You actually think that it's acceptable that if you order food from a restaurant, that they can give you shit because you ordered and you're not there to yell at them for doing it wrong? Are you an asshole? Are you that dense and stupid? No, you should always demand quality when you pay for something. It doesn't matter if you're there to keep your eye on them to make sure they're not fucking around. They should always do it right.
But anyone could say that about a Dark Side Phil stream, about your business. People should be demanding quality and not slop from this guy who constantly begs for money, and he makes his entire business focused around giving me money. Not the content, not the quality that I'm putting out, but just give me money, right? So yeah, let's turn your stupid little Subway rant into something that you can comprehend about your business and how horrible it is. And you talk about goals for 20 minutes straight. And you're a podcaster whose topics revolve around giving me money in some way. Whether it's hitting these goals by giving me money, whether it's DSP tries it by giving me money, right? Like, your business sucks worse than Subway, dude. You deserve to go out of business before Subway does.
If they don't always do it right, then you have a right to criticize and call them out. The fact that you would
Right. So why are so many people criticizing and calling you out, Phil, but you can't handle it? You turn everything around and get into defensive mode, and it's like, I'm perfect.
it's your fault because you weren't there in person. What kind of mentality have we gotten to in America? If that's really the case, in America, the land of keeping an eye on someone to make sure they don't slack off, what the fuck is that? No, absolutely not. That's not how it should be at all. It shouldn't be that you have to force people to do their job. They should just do their fucking job that they're getting paid for. Get it?
I mean, the same could be said about you. Once again, I mean, when it comes to checking emails and you get fans that are like, hey, I wrote you an email 3 days ago, and you're like, I'm sorry, I don't have time to look at it. I'm a busy guy. I got a family. I got a life to... But it's like, this is your business, dude. So if you're slacking off when you're not on stream because everybody knows that this right here is your business, and other than doing this and uploading streams and taking an hour to make thumbnails for some reason, you aren't doing anything, but you're too busy to check an email to get back to somebody. So the same could be said about you. You just slack off all day and burden other people with your problems, right? Phil, did you hear what reviewtechusa did today? No, I don't care about that guy. Has nothing to do with me and my content. That guy's beneath me. He's a loser. Except for when I wanted him on my podcast to Snake Kino Casino. I don't know. It's not really relevant to what we were just talking about, but for some reason it popped up in my head and I had to say it.
If you have that mentality, you're part of the problem. Really. If you just accept mediocrity, or in this case, utter failure. If you accept it, oh, well, that's your fault because you weren't there. You're a part of the problem. You're one of the reasons why people get away with it, you stupid idiot.
You know what, Phil? You're right. But you're also wrong. And let me tell you why you're wrong. Because you support this. Because everybody knows that Subway is a fast food brand. And depending on which franchise you go to, some are better than others. Some, the food is sitting out all day. And I've had shitty subs at Subway. And I don't eat there often. I know what I'm getting when I go to Subway. But you're going to shit on Subway and decide to still give them money to do DSP tries it and still spend $50, $60 on DoorDashing subs from Subway and giving them the business, knowing that the food sucks. You're the problem. You're keeping mediocrity in business. So what's the deal, buddy? You hate Subway so much, and yet there are people out there that actually like it. I've had subs from Subway that I enjoy. I don't think it's a quality, I don't expect Jersey Mike's quality when I go to Subway. It's something quick, it's easy, whatever. And it's convenient. If there's a Subway nearby and you're working somewhere and you stop there, great. It's a lunch spot for you. But nobody's thinking into it as deep as this guy. And this is the worst part. He's just a walking contradiction.
You should not allow them to get away with that bad stuff. You should complain. You should call them out on it.
Like people complain to YouTube and call YouTube out for allowing you to do your grifting begs and stuff. Yeah, I could see that. And yeah, I was checking to see if he was just banning somebody, and he actually was. At 326, he banned somebody. It's pretty funny.
Well, again, it's what I was saying is that is the problem with franchises. With a franchise, you never know what you're going to get. No exaggeration. Where I live right now, there is one Burger King that if I go there, all right, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful quality, bottom of the barrel, garbage food. Made horribly, always made messy, wrong, terrible food. There's another Burger King in the other direction, all right? Every time I've gone there, everything's been great. Seems fresh, everything's correct, portion size is correct, everything presented well, good value, warm.
So this has nothing to do with a franchise. Like he's saying the issue is with franchises being inconsistent. But you could go to a local restaurant down the street and be served fucking slop, right? They could serve you shit, and they're not even a franchise. So you're saying that I get good food at one place, but not good food at another. Some restaurants are just not good, Phil, and you just don't go there anymore. That's the simple problem. And then you let them go out of business, and that they learn a hard lesson there, right?
Well made. Two completely different, experiences for the same exact restaurant because it's franchised out. One different franchise owner runs it differently than the other. One person takes it seriously. One person just treats it like shit. And that's what you get. That's franchisees, man. And also,
But that's also just owning a restaurant, because there's plenty of restaurants out there that are shitty and they're run by people who don't give a shit. Or like the restaurant's been in business for 20 years and it's gone downhill and now the food's crap or whatever. Like, these are just problems with restaurants in general. To say this is purely up to being a franchise issue is wrong. And yes, I know there are people out there who own multiple Subways, right? There's franchisees out there that own like 12 Subways, you know, something like that, maybe more. And obviously they can't be there at every single Subway to make sure that things are going right. And that could be an issue. But that's not really what we're talking about here. You could have somebody who owns 12 Subways and hardly goes to them, and they're all great Subways and they do great business because the people that work there actually care. So, you know, this is more of a problem with restaurants in general, and maybe even fast food, because yeah, fast food is vastly different depending on where you go. More than likely, these franchises have rules in place that's like, hey, this food is never supposed to be out under a hot lamp for more than 3 hours. Or like McDonald's is like every 2 hours make a new batch of fries or something like that. You know, I don't work at these places, but I'm assuming that they have certain rules like these in place. I used to work at a gas station. It was a chain gas station, a franchise. And you'd have to change the coffee every 3 hours. They had big bins of coffee. And so every 3 hours you had to go there and you had to change the coffee. Then you'd write the time of when you changed the coffee. Do you think people did that every time? No. I'm sure there were people that worked at these stores that erased the time on the coffee and put another 3 hours and just let the coffee sit on the heater all for another 4 hours or whatever it was. And the coffee tasted like dirt. But that's just what it is, right? You're relying on the people that work there to do better. It's not a franchise problem, Phil. I guess that's what I'm trying to say for this stupid rant that I'm going on.
I've been hearing lately that internationally, a lot of these companies are completely different. Like, for example, I've heard that Subway offers completely different food outside of the US. In the US, they used to have like 7, 8
So doesn't McDonald's. And I think that's a problem with the US and the type of foods and additives that they're allowing into their food and the slop that they're just shoveling out to the masses. But let's see if Phil can grasp that on a larger scale.
kinds of bread, and they still have that internationally, but in the US, they only have 3 now. They have the Italian urban cheese, the wheat, and the white. That's it. They used to have all these others. They don't have them anymore. They have all these other offerings, all different meats, different veggies, different condiments, different things. We don't have them here.
It's almost like there's different cultures across the world that prefer different foods and that these places are able to cater to them. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just some schlub on the internet.
It just seems like America gets the short end of the stick. I don't understand why, but we do.
Why? Because the people in charge allow these companies to use bottom of the barrel ingredients for cheap foods and additives and food colorings and put all this processed shit into our food. Maybe that's why, Phil. I don't know. Have you been keeping up with the news? Like talking to a wall here. Okay.
If a Cowboy fan, I have no idea what you're talking about.
This has got to be Derek. This guy right here has got to be Derek or somebody on Derek's level. This is like the comments that they leave are crazy.
All right. Well, guys, I've talked about the topics that I wanted to talk about today. All right. I'll open it up to Q&A. If you guys tag me in the chat, we'll talk a little bit. Please, let's get some support for the stream. Guys, let's get some by the end of the podcast. Typically, the podcast does well. Today, it seems like it's doing really slow. It'd be great to get some support here before we start with blueprints. Again, I want to get back on track. We did not hit the goal last night. I want to get back on track hitting goals so we can do DSP tries it by the end of this week. So let's hit the goal. Please, let's get some support. And like I said, Kick support today is key. Please, let's get some subs over on Kick. Let's get our first sub right now.
Damn, his podcast has been running for over an hour and he's made $4. That's tough. Podcast is on thin ice, Phil. Podcast is on thin ice. But yeah, Kick, y'all need to support me, you bunch of freeloaders, because f you guys. You're a bunch of trolls. Hot sauce, get out of here, but tip me money and send support. You treat Kick chat like dirt because most of them are LARPers, and so I kind of understand that. But then you ask money from them. Like, you demand money from the same people that you dump on. It's some weird fetish thing with Phil.
Because we need to get that support going again on Kick. We can't have that slow down and peter out now. All right? What's
Why
up,
not?
King Michael?
What happens if it does? Soon he's going to be threatening to just stop streaming on Kick if that doesn't come in, guys. So you better start supporting.
Oh, if a Cowboy fan, Persona 4 sadly was spoiled to me. And this is what happened.
This is crazy. This guy's got like these people, I can't even tell where I'm pointing at. This guy's got all these people constantly typing in kick chat. He's got all these people on YouTube constantly typing and saying things, but he always addresses Ava Cowboy Fan. Why is that? Because he must know it's a sock for one of his whales.
Happens whenever I play a game that has like an ongoing mystery element or whatever, idiots come into the chat and spoil. So that's what happened. While we were streaming Persona 4, idiots came in the chat and spoiled it for everybody. So we were all spoiled at once. So we truly didn't genuinely get surprised at the ending. And there's nothing we can do about that. Morons will be morons.
As he wipes his look at the, he's like, morons will be morons, and then starts like viciously wiping his face. Look at this.
At once. So we truly didn't genuinely get surprised at the ending. And there's nothing we can do about that. Morons will be morons.
Rub your snout. All right, what am I doing here? I'm out of here. I just wanted to drop a quick video for y'all. Drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe.
Rather than rush out and buy another Elite controller. I mean, I could, but... So anyway, since this happened yesterday, all right, I've gotten comments on videos. I've got people writing me emails. I got people DMing me on X, and they're all like, yeah, this controller is great, but it breaks easily. So basically, this controller is faulty. Everyone's complaining. The Elite and Elite 2 controllers are great. They feel amazing when it's working, but it breaks. Not only does it have stick drift, but sometimes things just outright stop working. One person said their battery just died out of nowhere for no reason. So that sucks. I don't know why they'd be charging 130. I think the minimum I've ever seen this for is like 130. I think right now you can get this blue one for like 140, but the black one's like almost $200 on Amazon. So why an insanely expensive controller is infamous for dying out, I have absolutely no idea.
Just like his computer, he does zero research on the things he buys and doesn't know this stuff until after he already owns it, right? Like the motherboard sucks on this pre-built computer that I bought, but yet he can't spend money to fix Cat's computer. He doesn't have time to fix Cat's computer. You know, he doesn't have time to go out and buy a USB stick to install Windows on it to fix Cat's computer, right? But he's so ready to go out and just buy another one of these. Like the controller he bought broke. It stopped working. He punched it. I mean, dude, it's never a good idea to punch a controller with a bunch of small plastic parts in it to try to fix it. Okay, Phil. But then to be like, oh, it stopped working, and then not do anything about it and go buy another. I remember this happened, and I think I was in the chat, you know, in the Raw Phil chat, just being like, I guarantee the battery's dead. And what happens? The battery's dead. And you know why I knew that? Because I owned an Xbox like 10 years ago. And I know that when the batteries die on those things and you press the Xbox button, it'll glow for like 1 second and turn off. And I was like, I bet his battery's dead. And that's what it was. So this guy is the worst consumer of all time.
Why would you charge more for something that breaks easily? That doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
Why would you buy it?
I don't know. What Microsoft's up to. I love the controller. Like, I want to keep using it. I think it's great. But now people are recommending that I get all these other controllers. Like, no lie. Like, I got like 5 recommendations for different controllers that I should get. So that I have one that will last and it won't break like this one. Maybe eventually I will try it. You know, maybe I'll try some other controllers.
I don't even know why this is a segment. This should not be a segment on a podcast, dude. You claim that you're a podcaster. This is not a segment.
Since I got my gaming PC. So maybe it makes sense to every once in a while try a new piece of hardware. Maybe I could do it, you know, a testing of it on stream and tell you my overall thoughts about it.
You punch your controllers and you break them and you destroy everything and you do zero research into anything you buy. Why would anybody want to take your advice for purchasing anything? This is a guy that went bankrupt because he's got too much pride to go out and get a job. Why would anybody trust this guy's opinion on anything?
Could. I'll think about it. Right now, if this one works, fine. Maybe what I'll do is if this does break, I'll use the regular Xbox controller in the meantime, and I'll order a different brand, and that way we could try a new one. Okay?
This is such a waste of money.
All right.
Such a waste of money. Unlike all the other things you could be buying, especially to help your wife out who wants to play games and wants to play PC games. But be like, here's a mini PC. You can play it on Xbox 360 graphics. Well, this dude sits in here with 2 full gaming PCs. I guess one's a streaming PC, but you could probably use it as gaming PC. He just sits in his office and lets him go to waste when he's not working. Yeah. Nice, dude.
Folks, you know what's funny? People, Hot Sauce, who we know is a troll, on
we
Kick
do?
says, can you lean over
I didn't know
again so
that.
we can see the bald spot better? You mean the top of my head? This part here? The part that I have in my hair, that's a bald spot to you?
Yes.
It's a part. Have you ever heard of a part before?
Actually, Phil, yes, I have heard of a part, and that's a part right here. See this? This is a part. Yes, Phil, but people don't typically have a part in the middle of their head. See, like this is a part, you know?
I actually am starting to lose hair. It's in the back of my head, not the top. Top of my head is fine. It's a part. I swear, you people
Okay.
on the internet, some of you are just so insane. Like you, again, you hyperfixate, you hyperfocus on the dumbest stuff that doesn't even exist.
So why would you address the troll? You know this guy's a troll. You say it as soon as you start addressing the comment. Oh, everybody knows hot sauce is a troll, and then let's talk about what he said, right? And then let's prove him right, because we're going to say that this is a part when you don't usually part the middle of your head. I mean, I'm sure some people can, you know, like longer hair. When you have long hair, some people will part it from the middle. But that, buddy, no. No.
And then you regurgitate it in your own circles like morons, and you think it's true. You're nuts.
Or they're trying to get under your skin and it worked and you're nuts. Because you're the psychopath that has to address every troll comment on the internet because it hurts them so deep down.
It's called a natural part. See it right here? It's a natural part in my hair that happens because when you have hair, you get a part. It just happens.
Let's check out Phil's natural part haircuts. Yeah, I'm sorry, Phil. No, I don't. I think you're wrong, Phil. I'm no barber, but
It's not a bald spot. There's hair there. It just parts there.
why are you so mad? Just shave it off if it bothers you that much.
The level of a mania. My bald spot is way back. I'm telling you, I'm losing my hair right back here at the back of my head. I know that. Right here, there's a spot at the back of my head that I'm losing some hair. I'm well aware of that. That's common knowledge. Not a big deal. But not here where you're claiming that I have bald. He's bald.
But your hair is thinning in the front too, because typically when you're balding in the back, you're also thinning out in the front. Like your hair is just going to stop growing eventually on top all around. Like that's what happens when you bald, buddy.
Bald. No, how am I bald? Are you fucking idiot? People are so weird. Are they not? They're fucking bizarre. And again, they'll just sitting there and they'll just regurgitate the same nonsense and then they believe it. Oh, no, it's true. It's a meme, so it must be true. If you say so, stupid. I mean, I can't make you have an independent thought in your head. If you want to be a dunce and a fucking amoeba your whole life and believe your bullshit, go for it. But it just makes you a completely worthless person. It just makes you completely pointless to society as a whole. That time is long in the past. I don't really have that kind of audience anymore, quite frankly.
Reminiscing.
It's amazing I have people who come by and like will support games like Blueprints, although today we have $7, so maybe we don't today. I don't know.
It's rough, Phil.
All right, that's it. Can we get some support right now? That's it. Let's get our first super chat of the day to beat tags $2. Let's get someone the top a $2 tip. Let's get our first sub of the day over on Kick, and let's get a membership right now. Let's do it. Let's get some support for the podcast.
Man.
Let's get support for Blueprints. Dang nabbit. Let's do it.
He said, dang nabbit. Did you think he's Bugs Bunny? What about that Bugs Bunny meme where he's like, no? You know what I'm talking about. No, you probably don't. He's acting like that girl that's like, you guys really don't have $5. You guys really don't have $5 to subscribe. Why are you watching me then? If you don't have $5, why are you watching? That's what this sounds like. See, this is the dark side Phil tactic. He knows after he begs, if he goes silent for a little bit, the money will come in. Because if he just continues to move on to another topic, it's like he never begged. He never asks for money. He needs to make sure that the room is aware of what he really wants right now, and that's money. So we're going to halt everything until we get that super chat, until we get that gifted sub. You know what's coming up,
All right,
right?
guys, we're going to wrap it up shortly. Can we get a last-minute blitz of support before we start Blueprints? We're at $18 of support. Guys, can we do better than that? Can we please get our first sub on Kick for the day right now? I see all you over there with your hands in your pockets. Take your hands out of your pockets, all right? Do something with them. But don't do something.
Click out of the stream. Press the X at the top right. But what I was gonna say is, buddy, you just asked this question. Like, nobody likes a crackhead coming up and asking for money. If you're walking down the street, how annoying is it to some guy to come up and ask you for money and then you don't give it to him and he follows you around and it's like, come on, let's get some support over here.
Think vile or disgusting. Instead, support this stream right now. Let's get a sub right now.
Okay, Kino Casino, calm down there, buddy.
Because I'm about to end the show.
And end the show. He's too embarrassed to end it with such low support.